look, you alluded to it earlier, why this day is important in 16 over the 1, because the last time it happened, UMBC, and I believe it was the 16th that it happened, so a couple days ago, or yesterday, UMBC was able to upset the first ever 16 over a 1. They upset UVA, and unfortunately, Ben, UVA fell victim to another upset. Furman coming through late in the game, but I mean, not to fast forward through the whole game, but honestly, it came down to the very end. They trapped, Virginia inbounded it. They trapped him back there, and he just kind of chucked up a prayer.
He chucked it up. And I get the play, Sean, but you cannot do that.
Right.
That's so risky. I mean, he was trying to – what he tried to do, he tried to get the clock to run out. When you have the ball in the air, the time goes on, and it didn't work. Furman, give him credit. They were able to get the turnover, got a big 3, and that sealed it for them. Virginia – I don't think that's too much of a surprise. Offensively, they're not great because their defense is so good. They don't have to rely so much on their offense. That's a staple of Tony Bennett's teams over the years is it's defense. It's, all we need to score is 50 points to win a game. And that's what you get. But, and because you're in the ACC, you play them at least once a year. So, but in the tournament, anything can happen. If your offense doesn't get clicking and your defense cannot stop shots by Furman, then you're ripe for the picking. So, this doesn't really surprise me, but just by the seeding it does. But in reality, with a team like Virginia, it doesn't really shock me that this happened.
Oh, absolutely. And you're starting to see this more and more, not just in basketball, but all in football. It's more prevalent, where you're starting to see that some of these lower schools, some of these smaller schools, you get a Liberty, Vanderbilt, you get some of these smaller schools that get up here with the NIL deals and with the transfer portal. A lot of these guys are going to schools that you might not know. And all of a sudden you get a St. Peter's like from last year, where you got a bunch of guys that have played for several years and they're older and they know the game, and they're right for the pick and they're ready. So it's not necessarily by their seed because of their conference or wherever they play. They're obviously lower, but that's not indicative of how they actually play. And I think you had the same thing happen with Furman. You're absolutely right that Virginia wanted to keep it at 50. They want to keep it low. And that's where, when we beat them going into the tournament, and I'm talking North Carolina, we got them into the 60s and 70s. They don't want to get that high. So when they were able to beat us, they held us under 50 points, which is exactly what we want to do. Half court, just, kind of shut down our offense, no transition, fast pace, that type of stuff. So it's interesting because it wasn't their defense that lost it. It was that an errant offensive move that happened. So, this was a huge upset.